Okay, here we are, episode 9.
Episode 9.
Cheers!
Yay!
Welcome
back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. We have a car show going on outside, so if you notice us looking, it's an old antique car show going on.
Yeah,
Not
very
old
fancy.
antique, I guess, but
They're cool though.
the things you'll see at Cup of Joe.
That's right. We are a Cup of Joe.
Thank you to Cup of Job, another sponsor, allows us to use their space and time
And their coffee.
and their coffee to come
Yes.
to you today. Tonight is tea.
Yeah. Oh, you have tea.
I did tea tonight.
Oh.
Yeah, I did tea. So
We should
it's
have
good tea.
margaritas.
We should. We need margaritas.
Today's the
so.
week. You need margaritas. So we're wrapping up management
Yes.
today. So I feel like we could I feel like we get to the wrap up part and we could talk about it forever.
I know.
Like there's so much that we didn't touch.
Mhm.
But anyway,
Well,
we
and I
gotta
think
go
that's
ahead.
what we want them to do is tell us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I was just going to say, we got a couple comments about how great the video was. The Miles Monroe video, and, that it was really impressive and that we did a good job sort of talking through it. So, yeah, any more comments about that? Anything would be great.
Yeah. I'd love management stories.
Yeah.
Faux pas, disasters, good things you've done. I think that's part of what our heart is for this to really be a community.
Mm-hmm.
We are so busy managing so many things. That's the demographic of the people that we're talking to. And so we really wanted this podcast to be a place where you can go. But to make it a digital community, we need you to engage. So we need to hear your stories, your feedback.
Right.
Share them in comments. Let us know, especially the live. We really wanted to do more live, and this would have been a live one when we were planning it out, but recognizing that that's a lot to ask of women to come once a month.
We don't have that many friends, actually.
It's the truth.
We need a bigger
really.
community before we can do some actual live ones.
Oh, that's so true. So we
Hate to
need
say
you to interact with us since we're not going to do as many
Right.
live.
We're
as
going to
we will.
interact
We need you to
digitally.
interact digitally. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all that to say. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's where we're at.
Yeah. So, favorite part of management? There were so many.
There were so
I wrote
many.
down. I thought this whole cemetery thing.
I think it might
About-
have been the cemetery
I know.
too.
He says, I had to go back and look at it. Cemeteries are full of untapped potential. And I just think, of course, I'm like
dying right now.
dying and feeling like I'm leaving it all on the table. But
Yeah,
Yeah,
he wrote wealthiest place is not oil fields in Iran or Iraq, diamond fields in South Africa, but the cemeteries, which is where the place where dreams die.
yeah.
So it was this idea of just, you have a seed. We talked about the seed in you. God put a seed in you. And if you don't make that seed fruitful, you'll take it to the cemetery with you
Yeah.
and it will die with you. So
And
how many, when you walk through a cemetery, how many of those tombstones have seeds that have just died and not become fruitful
Right.
because they just didn't
They
do
didn't.
anything with it?
I know. That was so scary
Yeah.
to me.
Agreed.
Like I feel like that's just so, I don't know, that sort of shook me
Yeah.
a lot. Like, what am I leaving on the table? What am I not doing because I'm afraid? What am I not doing because I say I don't have time? What am I not doing? Which I think partially your personality, at least, and mine, I don't know about anybody else's, but I think we do also then not rest.
Right.
Right? So, I mean, eventually we should get to Sabbath because
Right.
I think I read that and I go, oh my gosh, I gotta get going. I got things
Let's
to
go.
do.
Let's go.
Stop, stop. I have to, do this, do that. So I do think like there is a balance, which is a terrible word.
Well,
But-
Sean and I were talking about it just this week. As far as I told him, I said, he and I are both very good at doing everything for anybody.
Yeah.
Like if you call, we're like, okay, I'll drive 700 miles to pick you up and take you here. If you need this, which is
Which is
amazing.
wonderful.
He's got that heart and I've kind of followed along with him and that's amazing. But I said, what we don't do is take care of each other. I know what he needs and what he wants and what makes him happy
Yeah,
and
for sure.
simple things.
Right.
And I will go out of my way to serve everybody else and not serve him. And he'll do the
Right.
same. That was kind of our argument this weekend. It was like
Uh-huh.
he was going on this and doing that with this person, doing that with this person. I was like, I just want the air conditioner to work. Like,
Right.
just fix the air,
What
you
about
know,
ours?
and so
Yeah.
it's like, I think of that when you're talking about rest too. It's also the same as we can get so busy doing good things, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's the book.
Yeah.
That's,
Right.
what is it? Is the enemy of good is the enemy of great.
Right.
which is that idea that you're doing so
Yeah,
much
exactly.
that you're not doing anything well. And so we definitely would err on the side. I think looking back and listening to the podcast the last couple of weeks on management, I felt like that's where we were all over the place. We were like, take a rest and have margin.
Yeah.
And we're like, but go, go, go.
Right.
And then the next time we'd be like, but you got to balance things. And then we'd be like, go, go, go. And I thought after listening to the last couple of podcasts,
We're psychotic.
but I think, isn't that what it is? It's like, go, 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 go. And then you're like, oh, but I got to take a break.
Right.
Go, go, go. Oh, but I got to serve my husband. Go, go, go. And it's,
Yeah.
that is the truth of how I feel every day. I want to go, 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 go. And then you just need some margin, need a break, need a rest, need a Sabbath. So,
Yeah, and we don't do a good job of planning ahead. Like, I'll do all kinds of stuff. This year is the first time when we did our goals at the beginning of the year that I said, plan a Sabbath. And I have one of those little dingy reminders you told me about that goes off plan your Sabbath the first of every month, because it is, I think it's hard to get that in, and yet we can't do what we do without it.
It is
So,
truly that balance. If you ever find the place of where you're doing as much as you can do for the Lord and running, I mean, the Bible talks about running a race. Like, you're not walking the race.
No.
You're not lollygagging the race. You are running the race. I mean, so it should be an active, full-on, aggressive
running to the
hunt
finish
for
line.
Jesus.
Mhm.
But then you have to put in margin and rest. And so I clearly have not struck that balance yet.
I mean, I
Thank
get it for like
goodness.
minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is a good day. Yeah.
So that is one of my takeaways from this management, is that the reality of that ebb and flow of my life. I'll run, and then be like, I got to stop.
Yeah.
You know, and so part of it, I think that's just what it is.
I do too.
And to
But I
run that
think
hard, then you crash.
You crash and burn. Well, and that's why I'm sick.
Right.
But I thought, some of the other things he said, which God won't give you what you're praying for, he'll give you what you can manage. And aren't we mismanaging our time, right? When we
So he's not going to give us more
not
time or more
have
capacity.
margin, right? I mean, when we don't put enough margin in and we don't trust him with the outcome, we're not managing it well. So we're not going to get more time. We're not going to get more talent, and we're not going to get more treasure in the way that it is going to be untapped.
Well, even look at what we're doing with the podcast. How many hours? I mean, I'm going to be truthful here. How many hours have you and I spent trying to get this podcast up and going on the technology, the digital side?
Right.
I mean,
Right.
passing chairs under the table, really wasting hours in the last couple months when we've tried to do this. And then you bring a mic in. Right. From Jaxified. Look at
From
me trying to
Jaxified,
bring in
yes.
our next sponsor. Mike
We
from
asked, we
Jaxified.
prayed about
We
this.
did.
And look, we have somebody that's helping
now-
us. And did you see our little intro? And I love it. Confetti.
He's
Thank
helping
you,
us
Mike.
so much.
We couldn't do this without you, obviously.
Well, and that goes to what you're talking about.
Right.
If we just manage time better, we were like, we can do it. We'll figure it out. We just do it.
All we gotta do is
And then it was terrible, but beyond that, it took so much of our time. Whereas as soon as we relegated that to him and asked for help and said, hey, you have a talent that we don't have. Can you step in? It saved us so much time.
Yeah, we don't have this talent. We need help.
I don't have the talent. So it is part of that is recognizing, when you need help.
Right. And that God will give it to you. Like, I mean, in essence, God gave us more time.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So you were talking about he's not going to give you it to give us more time. He said, here's Mike. There's Jaxified. Use them.
Like, we're very grateful for Mike and people that have other talents.
So that's good. So other things recapping. We talked about the cemetery. What other things stuck out to you just kind of as a recap?
I also, this blessing is permission to release what's on the inside, and that God does, that's how he blesses us, is he releases the seed and he allows the seed to be fruitful. But then adding to that, like, he won't, unless you manage well, you're only going to get so much, which I think, it's just a constant, right? I think because we say it all the time. I'll produce my fruit and I'm going to multiply it, but when we do it in one section of our lives and we're good at work, and then we go home and we're a disaster. And then, we are trying to study for the next session, and it's like, okay, what can Chat GPT tell me about this so that it can be faster, right? And I can get a little summary early. So, although God gave us Chat GPT, to save us some time.
Sometimes.
I mean, so it's, it doesn't mean
good.
we're not
It's
thinking.
Not
it's
anti-Chat GPT.
No, but it gave us summary. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. What was I talking about? Blessings and
we're
fruit
blessed to
and
have
multiply
ChatGPT.
it. Right.
It was really neat today, just sitting here today. And again, we do this podcast at the end of a workday every time is when we're recording. So I left my house at 6:15 this morning and have not stopped, and we're sitting here recording. So by the time we get to the podcast, I'm usually pretty tired.
We've had a day, right?
Today, though, was commissioning interviews for life work. And it's the opportunity that I get to sit across from the table every 45 minutes as another person comes in and just shares with me how life work impacted their life, what they got out of it. And then we make them do a takeaway. And that takeaway is where we say, okay, one thing that within the next year, what is it that God's called you to do or be doing? If you look back in a year, what do you hope to be doing? And in all the commissioning interviews that I had today, 3 of them specifically said something identical to what we've been talking about over the last month in the podcast, which is such a great confirmation of God.
God is so good.
And Judith Abbey, I sent it to you, so I hope you're listening. She said one of her goals, and these were her words, I want to have dominion over my industry. And I'm looking at my notes, and literally the word is dominion.
She was just trying to get on your
and
good
she
side.
And I was like,
sucking up to you.
How cool is that? That
she listened to our podcast.
What we were saying,
yeah,
it just aligns with what I think a lot of women are feeling and wanting in their business. And she was, not wanting to minimize God. And she said, I know this sounds crazy, but my goal is to have dominion in my industry. And I was like, that was the word.
That was the word.
So that was confirmation. Another one came in and just said, literally the words were, I don't know how to balance being a mother, a wife, a business owner, a Christian. I'm just struggling with balancing all that. So her ask was to be held accountable to continue to have biblical intake. Those were her words. But to be able to do it she has no time. So find a way to be able to have biblical intake in her busy life. And I was like, I have the answer for you. Here's a podcast you can listen to on the way to work.
We have a podcast.
Just that confirmation, though, of the Lord, I think, is great for us to know we're on the right page with things we're talking about to our audience.
Which goes to, I will produce my fruit, I will multiply it. I mean, we
had a little seed.
We had a little seed that was blossoming. And now, it's pretty cool that, I've said this before, but when we started, we said, if one person says it impacts them, and people are commenting, right? So, we love that. It makes us come back. So if you do have a comment, we'd love to hear.
I thumbed down by accident instead of thumbed up on somebody's comment. I couldn't see it.
That was
bad
great.
eyes.
Mike,
I thought I said thumbs up. And when I put it on the computer, I was like, I thumbed down it. So I changed it. But if you feel like I thumbed down you, please know it was a mistake. I did not mean to thumb down.
Tammie and our technology.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
That's very funny.
I know. So
But
bad.
Hopefully we undid that.
So bad.
maybe?
I did. I think when I pulled it up on the computer and could see it, I flipped it. But on my phone, I just thumbed down it. I didn't mean to. Other
Because
things.
you didn't have enough time.
I did.
There's no margin in your life to actually put your glasses
This
on.
morning was the worst margin. I got up with time. We thought we had it planned. And nothing worked out.
Those days, I swear.
One of the people that went through the commissioning interview today asked to pray for patience. And we were talking about how I had no patience this morning because my pace was off. We missed this and we're running here and this didn't work at the, rental car place, and she's under 25, so she couldn't rent the car. She didn't have the credit card, just all the stuff. So you're running behind. Even though I gave myself margin, we were running behind. So when the pace got so fast and I was running behind, I lost my patience. So I was like, we have to have a good pace to be patient.
That's very
Isn't that good?
Yeah, I like that.
And that's,
I like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
That's very hard to do.
it is.
I think that's a big challenge when you're trying to manage your life. And we talked a lot about business, but truth of the matter is this is about our life and managing our life and all the hats that we wear and all of the forwards and backwards that we have going on. It's doing that well, and it's very difficult. It's very difficult to be able to do that.
Yeah. Practical resources. And if you guys have some, share. I know the Remarkable's been amazing. I mean, as far as I know, I'm not technologically advanced, but being able to have that's been a huge
What do you
win.
want to explain what that is?
So Remarkable, we should be a sponsor to them because we love them so much.
Yeah,
but it is a digital
They should
notebook.
want us,
They
actually.
should.
Yeah.
It's a digital notebook. So you can take notes because I'm a paper pencil person
Yes,
still.
I
like
love
to
it.
write. That's the way I connect. But it allows you then to send it to emails, to download PDFs, and then you can take notes on PDFs.
You can share it.
Share it. It's amazing. So Remarkable's been wonderfully
It is
helpful.
true. It is true. And you're not leaving a file at home or a file in the office or a file. Like everything is right here.
It's very good. Monday.com has been very good for us as an organization, getting in Monday.com.
They should want us to.
They
you know,
should.
they're based in Israel.
Really?
That's where some of their
But I'm
R&D is.
thinking of like practical things. When we're talking about better management, what other things do you do?
Monday is huge for me.
Monday's huge for me,
Monday.com
too.
is huge for me. We use it at work. We're now using it on the LifeWork side of things, and it just makes a list, and it's not an overwhelming list because you can put dates in it and you don't have to see all of it. And then there's automations if you've done something and get
It gives
confetti.
you confetti. I really like confetti.
But then it'll change it. The next thing will come in. So that's very good for me. And I'm a big calendar person.
I'm a big calendar person.
I pretty much live and die by my calendar, and so for me, like even my Sabbath, it's blocked out of my calendar.
Do you have anything that you use on the home front to manage the house? Like, do you have a
group calendar or something?
potentially, or I was even thinking, do you have like a pattern? Like Mondays I do laundry, Tuesdays I do.
No.
Is there some sort of an organizational technique that you've used to manage your house?
No,
Me neither.
no. We do like on Saturday we do like sheets and towels and clean like kind of stuff. Rodney likes to go to the grocery store.
Oh,
It's fantastic.
you can
He
shop
loves
for me.
the grocery store and Costco.
Funny.
I know. I hate those.
I don't like
places.
either.
So Rodney likes to go to the grocery store. So that's not really on my plate. But we don't have like a
Rotation or
No,
pattern. We don't
not
either
really.
at home.
but stuff gets done for
It
the
does.
most part. We sort of divide and conquer. Like Rodney does cars, I do emotions.
I think I had more when the kids were younger.
Oh,
Like
for
we had
sure.
specific,
For sure, that's
like
true.
dinner is usually at this time, baths are at this time, bedtime's
Yeah.
at this time. We pray
did.
before bed.
We
I think
did.
we were a little bit more patterned.
I had a bin.
when they were young.
Everybody had
Yeah.
a bin. And if something wasn't in your bin and it was left out, it got thrown away. So that was 5 kids. You have to have that.
to.
Yeah.
So I do
did
think we
have
were
that.
a little bit more organized and managed better when they were. I don't know. Just
Yeah.
was thinking, if you have techniques or strategies that you use, please share. We'd love to hear ways you're managing your house, managing your business, managing your marriage. Any keys on marriage management?
I'm not very good at that one. I'm, like you said earlier, like you know what Sean needs and how to interact with him, and you don't do it. I know Rodney would love it if I wrote him a thank you note every day and just said, thank you so much for everything that you do and all that kind of stuff. And do you think I could do that? I don't know why.
I know.
It's like the sin in me or something.
I know. I'm not good at that either. I'm really
What is that?
I don't know. And I know it doesn't take much for Sean. Typically it's sex. I mean,
Well,
when in
that's-
doubt,
yeah.
I mean, it doesn't take
I
much.
just told somebody that their kid could listen to this today.
yes, it's.
You have to like mark that out. You have to like
You can bleep that out.
you have to call it 6 or something.
I don't know what it's called.
Neither.
Intercourse? No. Will they know what that is? Anyways, I know it can be simple. We can be in the worst of moods, and I know simply what makes it better. And I also know what word to say that will trigger him. I mean, it is literally like a phrase or just a tone.
Right.
And I know it, and I
still do
know
it.
not to say it, and gosh darn it.
I
mean, we had a knockdown drag out this week, and it was on me. I knew it. I knew it going in.
You were just
and
ready for it.
I was just, here we go. Let's go. I knew it was going to hurt.
You had all this company.
I did.
And you guys went at it anyway.
Oh, well, they weren't in the house at the time. It was on the phone. But I mean, and I knew it was one of those almost like out of body experiences. Like, I know this is going to hurt, and I just did it anyways. So I don't always manage the marriage well either. I could do a much better job.
It's definitely at the bottom of the list.
It really is.
Unfortunately. And Rodney gets the worst of me, and he knows it, and he loves me anyway.
And that's what I think Sean and I were talking about. He does the same. I mean, he's much better to me than I am to him. No doubt. But even so, I could feel, he'll put work, he'll put
all kinds of stuff.
And we just, 30 years together, it's what it is.
Easy.
You just
Rodney,
do it.
Rodney will choose work, always. Like, it's easy.
So we need to manage our marriage better. But anyways,
we're not setting good examples.
No, if you have any ideas or suggestions, feel free to share them.
Feel free. Actually, put those in the comments and direct them to us, because most people probably don't need as much help as we do.
We are not growing. We talked about that. God will never tell you to do something he can't give you. The 5 things: be fruitful. 1, multiply. 2, replenish. 3, subdue. 4, have dominion. 5. Right. Those were the steps. So I think that was what we talked a lot about, the seed. I think that was a big thing for me, that everybody has a seed, and you need to be fruitful with it. You can't not be.
You said something, I think, we're not supposed to be seedful. We're supposed to be fruitful. I was like, yes, we're supposed to be fruitful.
And I think there's a lot of seedful. I hear people all the time with dreams. Oh, if I could, I would do this. And I really want to do this. And then there's no action behind it.
Do you feel like you have lots of unanswered dreams? Like, I was thinking about that in my thinking mode, because I
started counting how many times we say I think. We think nice. A lot.
We are good thinkers.
But I tried to think about what else we could say. I believe.
I know. That's what I was thinking. I can't just say, like, this is my thought. I thought about this. I think you should stop counting things like that.
I know.
I'm not listening
to are we talking about ourselves too much? That's what I thought. Because it's a lot of, I think this, I think that. So then I tried to wonder, since I'm not thinking.
Isn't that why we're here?
What else could I say? So it's,
I wonder. I think.
Or like, then I switched to tell me what you think. But I would say just keep coming back to think. I don't know. I got to get more creative.
I appreciate that. So think a lot. So anyway, do you have a lot of, like, do you have any, like, do you have seeds that you think God hasn't sprouted yet?
Yes.
Yeah. What are they?
Oh gosh.
You can name 3, because we could be here all day. I mean, we're 23 minutes. Wait, are we still recording yet?
I think I categorize things, goals, dreams in home, kids, work. So, talking about my home, I want to build a house on the lot. Like just that kind of dream. Like I hope to have a house with this and that. And there's that whole dream. I want to have a garden. And keep saying I want a garden.
Oh, I forget. I have to take a picture of that tree thing you gave me. By the way, it's still alive.
What
that little
palmy
thing?
See, I think I have a green thumb. I just don't have
to repot it. But
so there's those goals.
But like really untapped seeds. Like, do you think there's a gifting right now that God has given you that you're just putting aside? Yeah.
Believe that I wouldn't say I believe. I was talking to a friend the other day. They're trying to do something and it's just not working. They just keep trying and they keep trying and it just doesn't work and it just doesn't work, and they kind of threw their hands up and were like, it just maybe will never be. And I told her, I said, I really believe it will be. There are so many things that we dreamed about, or we had a seed that didn't come to fruition way back when.
Right.
And maybe not even in the way I thought. But I can look back now over my life and be like, aha.
Look what God did.
For the example, when 25 years ago, we purchased a lot in Pennsylvania because Sean's grandpa said, hey, it's a good property. It's a good investment. Just buy the lot.
Right.
So we bought a lot. We didn't know what we were going to do with it. We're going to buy a lot. And it had a building on an old Knights of Columbus. And so then we started dreaming, we could do this and we could do that. And Sean was a therapist. We're like, you start your own therapy. And then I thought at the time, we should do a Christian coffee shop. Now, again, this was 25 years ago, before coffee shops really were what they were. And that was on one of the lists. And then I was in education at the time and we had the kids. And one of them was, we should do a Christian childcare for our kids. Well, when we kind of worked through it all, the childcare made the most sense for us at the time. So we launched the Sycamore Center, which fast forward 4 locations, all the stuff that we did with it.
Right.
But on that list was a Christian coffee shop that at the time I had a dream to do that. 25 years later, I have 4 Christian coffee shops at the beach, above and beyond what I could have ever asked or imagined. So if you have those seeds, and I think you speak them out in one way or another, I think God will bring them to fruition at some point, at some time.
And I think that's the thing, speaking of pace and patience, is, I mean, growing up, my sister and I were going to have a company where we organized people's houses. And, here, she's an interior designer, doing her thing. And I'm like in the financial world, organizing people's financial house.
Yeah.
Right? It's just, it's so funny how, it wasn't so specific, but how God just does that. So
I think if you put it out there, that's part of it. Here's the seed deep down in me.
I have one that I'm not executing on, and I know that God has told me to write a book, and I haven't.
You've said that a couple times.
I have said that for years. Yeah. I have an outline. I have
podcast family. She said it here.
I know. She said it out loud. I have said it out loud so many times, and it's,
you just got to do it.
Yeah, I just don't know what it's going to say. But anyway, it's a thing. Yeah.
One of mine, I was just telling Sean this the other day. It's interesting that we're talking about it. Pre-kids. So Bailey's 24. So this was before kids. So 25, probably 28 years ago, I went to a women's conference in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And one of the speakers, I'm blanking on her name right now, but she did a book, Stick a Geranium in Your Hat. And I can't remember her name now. Patsy Claremont or something. Some kind of funny
something.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm at this conference, and it was a women's conference, and I'm with some friends. And the first speaker got up and talked. And the speaker was, a horrific story, but a tragic story. She was on her honeymoon. They went snorkeling. And a boat hit her husband, and he drowned and died. And it was on 9/11, and she couldn't get, it was tragedy after tragedy after tragedy. And the end of it was, but God. And it was amazing. And then the next speaker came. This is, tens of thousands of women at this huge conference. The next speaker gets up, and it was, I had cancer and tragedy and tragedy and tragedy, but God. That's great. And then the next speaker got, and I'm not exaggerating. There had to be 10 women speaking over this weekend that I had spent all this money to go to this women's conference. Every single one of them was a tragedy, but God. And I wrote in the journal, literally wrote in the journal, is there any way to have a platform to speak your testimony without a tragedy? And it just left it there with a question mark. Could God use me and my story without a tragedy? And now I get to stand in front of hundreds of people
on a podcast
in life work. Travel to South Africa and share what God's done in my life, and there's not been a tragedy. I literally wrote it down, and now 30 years later,
that could be the book.
Have watched that. There is a testimony without the tragedy. And that's nothing against those who have had the tragedy. That's their story and their testimony.
But it does, I think, when you hear a testimony that has a tragedy, you go, but God.
But God.
And then when you hear my testimony or your testimony, it's sort of like, that's sort of boring.
Yeah.
Did anything really happen there? So it's so easy to diminish the value of a testimony that doesn't have road to Damascus.
Right.
kind of shake the world.
I've had a blessed life.
Me
I've
too.
had a successful life. I have a
Right.
great marriage and great kids and a great
Right.
job, great opportunity. That's still but God.
But God. Exactly.
And I don't think that gets enough comments. You know, even we were saying you drive by an accident on the road. Something in us is hardwired to look at tragedy. You slow down and look like you're somehow going to see a dead body or something.
Right. Something.
Another accident happens because everybody slows down to look at the bad tragedy. Same as our news.
Yeah.
Everything is
news. Bad sells.
tragedy. It sells. And unfortunately, I think we've fallen into that as Christians, that bad sells. You listen to worship songs. Every great worship song is, oh, the horribleness of war.
Yeah.
And
It is true. We do this.
churches, you go, I mean, you think of all the good messages is your life sucks, but God. And again, there are those who have had horrific tragedies. I don't want to minimize that, but I don't think we celebrate enough of the good, but God. I just have had a good life. Praise the Lord.
Right. And you're not saying that you're not a sinner.
Oh, gosh, no.
Right. I mean, it's not that kind of.
Not that
Not that kind of, but it's like, I have had an easy life. I mean, in general, I've had a very easy life. Like, things weren't
easy life?
handed
No.
to me, but
in comparison.
I've had no.
I have
I've sailed through.
Me too.
So,
But there's still a but God in that.
But then, yes,
And
there's
that's
a huge
not
but God.
celebrated enough.
Yeah.
And that's where I think
That's
I
why
get
we're
to.
here. Cheers.
Cheers.
God. We're gonna make a book called "But God."
And celebrating, the gospel is good news. It is good news. And I don't think we celebrate the good enough. That's my 4-1 at the beginning. I'm a little
It is.
obsessed with that.
I know.
4-1, it should be good to bad. And that's not to say there's not tragedy, but I think back to that and thought, can you have a testimony for the Lord without a tragedy? And my definitive answer now, 30 years later, is yes. Yes, I have a story. I have a testimony that is to God be the glory.
And that is probably, if we went back and did our lives in the mountains, in the valleys, or however you want, if we timelined it, I bet it would be 4-1.
I bet it would be 4-1.
It would be so many good things, and then a little,
Right.
and then 4 good things and a 1. We should
And
get
the
a
ones,
tattoo.
we should get a 4-1. And the ones come at a time probably where we need that to just kind of refocus and say, okay.
Right, a little kick
But
in the
God,
tush. Yeah, a little kick in the butt about that.
So that
Yeah.
was, Anyways, I don't know where we digress how
I
we got
have
to that.
no idea how we got there, but
do with
we suck
management.
at management, and nobody's going to listen to that part. So we might as well talk about our
I don't
testimony.
know how we got there, but that was
How we
got.
That's funny.
It's 4-1.
4-1.
Get a tattoo. I had a great management this past week. How much time do we have? Oh, we're getting there.
Yeah. We're keeping it short today.
First time ever in my life,
Yes, tell me.
in my career. And I've had a very long
someone's
career.
calling
Ooh,
me. Child.
I've had
You know what he's going to say? I can't believe you ghosted me.
which child?
Alex. Uh-oh.
Oops, he's on it.
Words. Sorry, honey.
I love you.
He's going to say, you ghosted me.
It
happens
was
all the
important.
time.
We were doing a
I
podcast.
was talking about him.
30 years of my career.
Yes.
No, probably more than that. How old am I? Way old. I've been working forever.
Yeah.
I've never done this. I took 2 full days. So I walked into my Airbnb at like 8 o'clock at night on a Tuesday last week. So I just slept. And then I had all day Wednesday, all day Thursday, and checked out on Friday
Mhm.
of me totally
All
by
by
myself, totally by myself in a house, big house, to just vision cast for the upcoming year of life work. We just had the graduation. So I was like, okay, we've got lots of transition,
Yeah,
as you know,
right.
big things coming along and changing. And I was like, I
Need a moment.
need a moment and I want to vision cast for the next year. And right before I was getting ready to go, I thought, oh, maybe I'll invite my program manager for a day, and I'll invite my manager of the coffee shops for a day, and I'll do one. And then I was like, no, I can do it. I'm going to
do this. Did you
all by
eat by
myself.
yourself?
I ate by myself at
In a
restaurant.
restaurant?
I went to the restaurant
never
and
done
I
that
ate
before.
by myself. And then I started getting on my phone because I was like, oh, I'm
yes.
sitting. And I thought, no, I'm not. So I put the phone down and I ate and I looked around, and here they were Steeler fans in the middle of
Oh,
Georgia.
there you go.
So I connected with the guy, which was great. It was amazing.
It's so good.
It took me a little bit of time. I was surprised. Like, I got there that night and slept. Got up the next day and I was like,
Like, now what?
okay, what do I do? And go figure, because it was God. The house that I rented had no Wi-Fi. I mean,
No way.
Couldn't even get the TV on. It was like something was broke.
Oh,
I was going to
no.
call the Airbnb person
Right.
and I was like, well, here it is. I'm just here. So we're just going to do it. And so I walked for a while and just kind of got my head together.
That
and
was
just
good.
thinking
A
and
walk is a
praying.
good
And
idea. Yeah.
I walked all downtown and I mean, it was miles.
coffee,
Like I
I
was
bet.
walking, got some coffee in a local place, talked to some local people, came back, had lunch, did all the stuff. And then so I got in Tuesday night, Wednesday night, I started like, okay,
I'm
I'm
in
going to
it.
do this.
Yeah.
So I put up all the posters on the wall and I got out the markers and like the whole thing.
I saw your
And I started. And then I couldn't go to bed because my brain it was like I got to dump all the
Yeah.
stuff that's just been thinking. Finally fell asleep, get up the next day, and I thought, that was a good pattern. I'm going to do the same thing. So I went to the beach that day instead of walking. Spent the first part of the day at the beach, just sitting, walking on the beach, praying. Came back that night and was like, and then I had to come home. And I was like, oh, I needed
can't
another
believe it's
day.
over.
Like
Yeah.
I needed one more day because it was like I just got going
Yeah.
and I had to leave. And
Oh,
it was really good.
Oh, I went on a silent retreat for 5 days for my 50th birthday. And it was the best thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have the stuff, like God just spoke into me.
Mhm.
And it is like the coolest thing.
It was really good.
And then I did a retreat this year,
Yep.
in
With our
September,
upcoming legend.
which our upcoming legend. Yes,
She does these
You have to
women's
join us
executive
for that.
retreats,
Yeah.
so you'll have to tune
Flourish
in for that.
Executive
Yep.
Women's Retreat. And same thing. I just I did what you did and sort of like God just spit it out of me, and I mapped out like the next 10 years at Legacy, and I went like, where did that come
Yeah,
from?
it
And it was just such a cool. I don't know. We don't do that enough.
I've never done it. And
Yeah.
again, I was surprised at how hard it was for me to get started. Like I
Yeah.
thought, oof, I don't know what to do with me because it wasn't like a vacation where I was just chilling. Like I went
Right.
there to,
Yeah.
so I didn't want to just sit around and do nothing, but I was like, I don't know how to really get started. And then once, man, it was good.
Then when
God
you
was
started
good.
like brain dumping,
Yes, and then it was like I needed more time. I thought that was one of the things was I have to do this every year after graduation, and I need 3 days
Probably
at
3
least
days,
because it just by the time I just got into a rhythm, it was time
Yeah.
to go. It was great.
And also, like what I did when I went in September, like I had notes on my Remarkable too. Like I had sort of pre-thought, and you probably didn't have that
I
much
did
time
not.
to pre-think.
Mm-mm.
And so I did I had a bit of a plan.
Mhm.
Like I need the Lord, we're going to talk about this. And I prayed about it probably for 2 months of Lord, I need some answers on this.
XYZ.
And I got them. So
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
good.
very
You're right.
cool.
I mean, knowing if I did it again next year after graduation, I think I would be prepared going in. This was
Yeah.
kind of a, hey, I
right.
just need it.
Well, you just
I was
sort of said a week
we
ago.
just gotta go.
I'm going.
I gotta
I'm
get
gonna
out.
go
I
do
gotta
this.
clear my head. We've lost too many staff. All the stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, I just got to get it together.
But that's a
It was
good
good.
management tool. I mean,
was
that's a
good.
great thing to end our little management session.
that's what I was
on
thinking.
Is like that time that you take for yourself to do that only makes you a better
Mhm.
manager. You can articulate a vision. You can, decide who's going to help you manage that vision, who's going to execute that vision. I mean, that's that. Without that, you've just been spinning for
Yeah.
the next 6 months.
And that's how I've been feeling. It's just spinning. I got to get this person hired, this
Yeah.
person hired. We got to get this. We got to do
Right.
that. All good. But it was great. Anyways, so it was
Yeah.
a great couple of days.
That's so glad. I'm so
Yeah,
glad
it
because
was
that
really
is,
good.
it's such a worthwhile
Mhm.
exercise.
It was really
It's hard to explain to people that have never done it.
It was hard for me to do. I mean,
Yeah.
I was nervous about being by myself and not,
Yeah.
sounds like, were you scared? I was like, I wasn't scared. It's not a safety thing. I was nervous to be by myself in my own head.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes I think I get so busy to keep myself out of my head.
Yeah.
Because when I can get in my own head, it'll go down a path that I'm like, oh.
Well, you can spiral in a lot of
Yes.
different directions.
And I
Yeah.
was nervous to be alone with my own mind and nothing to occupy me because normally I can jump into work. And
Right.
if things get going, I'll just do more work. I'll just jump into
Yeah,
work.
I'm frustrated, so I work.
I'll work.
Yeah.
And this was, you didn't know where to go. It's very good. So
Very cool. I'm glad you did that.
I know.
Correct. This is a good way to end
it's a
management.
good way. So manage.
Good job.
Go do a mini retreat.
Yeah. And like manage well, right? I mean, that's managing well because you're making a plan because you're the manager.
Mhm.
God made you to be the manager and the CEO. And sorry, my chair's tipping.
Chair's
I thought
tipping.
it might go
Rocking.
that would be really funny on the video. But I mean, you're going to get rewarded for taking the time out of your busy schedule. Like, not the lightest work time, right? And to take your time and say, stop, I need this. The organization needs this. So good for you.
Good.
Yeah.
It's good. Cheers.
Cheers. Good job.
Episode 9.
In the books, but we have to talk about episode.
Oh, yeah.
The next episode. We start with the Shunammite woman.
Do you guys know the Shunammite woman?
The Shunammite woman. Let us know where you find her.
Check her out. We're going to talk about her for the next 4 episodes in some way. And
our legend's going to talk about the Shunammite woman.
Yeah.
Yep. Should we give a few hints?
I was going to say, Old Testament, not many verses again. More than Lydia, though.
Not many verses.
I mean, Lydia had 4. Shunammite woman's got
she's
a couple of chapters. Yeah, she's got a few more than Lydia.
But no name.
No name. In the Old Testament.
In the Old Testament. No name and...
married, noble, wealthy. I mean, there's some teasers. She's
yeah, go ahead, find her. Let us know what
awesome.
you got. Yeah, she's impressive.
And we'll be back next week with the Shunammite woman.
Yep.
Here. Are we here?
We're at a cup of Job.
We're at a
somewhere.
Cup of Job.
We are at one cup of Job somewhere.
All right.
So here we go. Let's turn ourselves out.